Okay, how you doing, YouTube squad? This is Married to Medicine, season 8, episode 10. Ain't no party like a self-love party review. Let's get into it because I don't have time to give all this. I'm just gonna get into the recap. So they recap what happened last episode where they talked about or previous episode where they talked about Toya. They showed Toya talking about, or Heavenly been showing Quad a video where Toya was basically talking about Quad's house. And they also show a clip with Anila, who went to do makeup with Toya and didn't pay her damn bill. So all that becomes a topic of conversation in this new episode. So they showed us a clip of that. Then we see Funky Diney, Vanessa himself, sat her ass in Dr. Heavenly's dental office trying to get a whole new smile. Then we have Contessa on the show saying that she has had to go to quarantine because she had COVID, and everybody that's been in contact with her also has to go into quarantine, which includes basically everybody on the damn cast. Dr. Heavenly decided to do a Zoom meeting with the ladies while they were quarantining, and that segment is to be continued because there was some mess that happened during that damn Zoom meeting. Then we get to Contessa and her fine-shaped ass going over to Quad's house to get Lysol spray because now that she's out of quarantine, Quad is not taking any chances with herself, so she wanted to spray her down with Lysol before she walks into the house. I loved Contessa's shape in that outfit. Contessa does run. She's ex-military. Contessa is absolutely gorgeous. Her figure is beautiful, and she has maintained herself very well for a woman who has had kids. Shit, I don't look like that, and I don't have that kind of drive. My husband runs like her. I don't do that shit. And on top of that, Contessa's energy, to me, I like her energy when she's not around Toya. I like her energy. But to me, I like Contessa, and I think she's gorgeous. And I also like the dress that Quad was wearing because Quad does have a cute little shape and a cute little ass on her, too. Now, they get into it, and Contessa says that somebody had kidnapped her dog when they were supposed to be babysitting that dog. And I'm like, but she also puts it in the form of that the dog that she was supposed to be babysitting, that the girl who stole it was also rescuing the damn dog. I'm thinking, who the hell is going to steal my dog and tell me that they're rescuing that person? Or maybe it's because she said she was neglecting the dogs, just like she neglects her kids sometimes because she's chasing her dream. She didn't feel like it was better for the dog to be with them, so she didn't really pursue it with the person stealing the damn dog. You know, Quad thinks her dogs are her children, so she said that all hell will break loose if somebody try to kidnap my damn dogs. Now, Scott comes up in the conversation, and she said that Scott's about to turn 50. And Quad talks about how she needs to be mindful because when men turn 50, they start questioning themselves. Am I attractive? Am I still desirable? And during that time, they may stray because they just want somebody to give them, extra attention. We already know Scott's strain. Contessa's already know Scott's strain. So Contessa's dumb little hints that she's dropping to people. We know that Scott is cheating on your ass. Does he deserve to be cheating on your ass? No, because I don't like Scott and how he talks to her sometimes. And I personally think that Contessa could do better than Scott. And I think that the reason why Scott talks to her the way he does is because he knows she can do better than him. Then we have Contessa letting us that Scott actually told her that he almost divorced her ass while her ass was still in school. And I was just like, the things that I'm not even, just pause on that one. Then we leave that segment with Quad and Contessa basically discussing that ordeal between her and Scott and how they're going to move forward. Then we get to Lisa Nicole visiting Toya. I guess Lisa Nicole and Toya are supposed to be extra close now. Why? I don't know, because Toya already called her husband a gay ass husband. So for me, Toya says things, and then when it comes back to her, she plays like she is hurt. And for me, Lisa Nicole now coming, I don't know if Lisa Nicole is trying to get herself back a permanent cast member, but she over at Toya's house, and she brings up the Zoom meeting that I said to be continued. And we find out in the Zoom meeting that Heavenly did go after Toya on the Zoom meeting because they asked Heavenly why her and Toya had a problem. Heavenly said something like, is Toya stupid or broke or whatever. She always, the only things that Heavenly say about Toya is she's stupid or broke, or a combination of both. Or she out there copying her closet. Either way, Carrie notates that Heavenly is attacking Toya because Heavenly has a sense of jealousy behind it. And honestly, I do feel in my spirit that Heavenly is jealous of Toya. Ain't no way around it, because Toya is married to a doctor who's willing to give her the entire world, and she ain't got to do shit. Heavenly, yes, she says that she said later on in the show that she'll rather have daddy's money than have daddy's penis because she can pleasure herself. So if Heavenly could only stay home and have her man give her everything and buy her anything and get the ass, and while she gets them in debt like Toya does sometimes, she'll do it. She'll have to do nothing but stay at home and take care of the kids. I think to a certain extent, Heavenly is jealous of Toya, and so that's why she keeps calling Toya stupid, and she keeps trying to bring Toya's morale down because she feels some type of way. I do feel that in my spirit. Even though Toya has done some dumb shit, Heavenly goes after her in a particularly mean, bullying type of way. and the things that she says about Toya, I feel like she's envious of her to a certain extent, because I remember her doing the same shit to Dr. Jackie when she first came on the show. And then she finally admitted that she's envious of her. She just can't get herself to admit that she's envious in some way about Toya's life and what Toya's doing. And that's just facts. So when Carrie in the interview in the Zoom meeting said that Heavenly's jealous, then Heavenly decides to get defensive as usual and decides to say that she ain't jealous of her, and keeps going. And Quad decides that she was going to defend Toya in a nice, nasty way by bringing up Toya's house. And in that situation, Lisa, Nicole, and Toya discussing it, and Toya is basically saying that she now has a problem because she don't feel like she got loyal friends. Because why is Quad now talking about her house and she completely has amnesia? The fact that she also did an interview, which Heavenly was so, she was waiting to get that tea to Quad to get somebody else pissed off at Toya, basically saying that Toya is mad at Quad for doing the same thing that Toya also did to Quad in the first place. But the only difference is Toya is unaware why Quad even started talking about her. Toya doesn't know that Heavenly in a way is kind of manipulating Quad. She manipulated Quad because she knows that Quad is very triggered. Quad is very sensitive. And if somebody tells Quad that somebody's talking about her, it doesn't matter whether they say something small, Quad is going to go off. And because Heavenly's targeting Toya right now, she's going to use Quad to help her target her. And that's what it is. So Quad in a way is getting manipulated because every time she's around Heavenly, all she does is badmouth Toya because Heavenly brings Toya up. That's what it is. So I'm just going to keep going and say that that's the issue. But Toya is now saying this to Lisa, that she wants to feel like she got loyal friends. While this conversation is going on, Jackie calls Lisa and decides to invite them to a little girls' night out or girls' day out, and they both decide that they want to go. We get to Cecil, and Cecil has finally become an official bartender because he's out here practicing his mixing drinks and stuff like that during COVID, because he needs a hobby, and because Simone works all the time as a doctor, and because they lost their dog Sam, and he really doesn't feel like he has anybody to talk to. And I feel for Cecil because I actually like Cecil. I think Cecil is a great husband. I think that he's very calm. I think that he's very supportive of Simone. It was sad watching him almost go through a divorce because he couldn't tell her he loved her. But now seeing him out here, he seems to be more happy. He seems to be relaxed. But they decided to bring up their children. And this man had the nerve to say that he don't feel like children should have a cap on how long they stay at home. I said, hell to the no. Ain't no way my child is going to be at my house at 30, 35 years old. What? Are they paying my bills? As far as I'm concerned, at a certain age, your ass is supposed to be taking care of me. I did my duty. I'm not going to be taking care of you till you're 30, 35 years old at my house. Boy, you better go ahead and spread your wings. Get the hell out of my house, you little freeloader. But Cecil said that he was down in his mama's garage until Simone came and picked his ass back up out of there and told him, hey, we can't stay here in your mama's garage. You need to actually do something with yourself. Cecil says, why would he leave if his mama's still doing his laundry? Exactly my point. You're still a child. Get out the damn nest. Then we get to Dr. Jackie's self-love party. And this is where all the juice happens. Because Jackie's dress, absolutely beautiful. She has no ass, but it works for her shape because the dress did work for her. Contessa's ass is exquisite in her outfit, whatever outfit she wears. She comes out, her booty and her body shows. Heavenly's mouth is a curse in the making. Then we got Quad's physique, which is perfect for her because she's trying to attract her next sugar daddy. Then we get to the honorary guest, Shanice. Shanice has a master's degree in self-love, but she's also an underground, she has a porn star name called Nessie. She does porn on the low. Not really on the low, but just in the evening when she's not here doing her work during the day, she's out there working some man's dick at night. So she's very proud of herself. She's very loving of herself. She's very open about her sexuality. She's not embarrassed by nothing. And Jackie's little freaky ass brought her here to talk to the group and give them some little self-love motivation. While this is happening, Heavenly says in the confessional that Jackie has gotten freakier over the years because she must have learned her lesson in reference to Curtis cheating on her. I was like, Heavenly is the type of friend that I would want to whoop her ass every so often because Heavenly can't need to watch her damn mouth. For me, as a friend, I won't want to expose certain things about myself because I'm seeing her talk. She's just making this kind of mean-ass jokes and she thinks it's funny, but she don't want to think it's funny and she has that high-ass laughter. As annoying as she is. Then we got Anila telling Simone off to the side that she heard from their tennis group members that Toya has been telling everybody that she's stupid and she don't pay her bills. And she wants to address this with Toya, but she's deciding to bring it up to the group when she could have just made a phone call to her. Toya decides to walk in while they're talking about, Lisa Nicole is asking Heavenly about the Zoom meeting and why she went in so hard on Toya. Heavenly says that she don't talk about nobody when they're not there. And that's a lie, because next scene, the next segment, she was talking about Quad. I'm talking about Toya, her and Quad, when Toya wasn't around. So here comes Toya walking in, and Toya comes in and you can tell that she's already in a bad mood. Even though her ass is out there, she's already in a bad mood because she already feels some type of way. She comes in, she don't say hi to Heavenly, she don't say hi to Quad. She goes and sits by Anila. And Quad's ass acts shocked that Toya didn't say hi to her, and goes in the confessional and says something like, we've only known each other for 9 years, bitch. You've been talking shit about her. For whatever reason behind it, you have been talking a lot of shit about her. Why the hell would she say hi to you? Quad does some fake shit sometimes, and it annoys the hell out of me. Girl, if you're talking shit about her and you know you're talking shit about her, why would you expect a hello? It's likely it's gotten back to her, you know, by way of Heavenly, who's already starting a mess and putting your ass in it and using you as a pawn, like Phaedra did with Portia ass, using you as a mouthpiece to talk shit, and then going behind your back and bringing up to Toya to sting her with it. And you over here expecting this heifer to say hello to you, girl, bye. Then, as soon as Toya sits down to Anila, she asks Anila how you're doing, hello, expecting Anila to be the only person that she can actually discuss with. Anila takes this opportunity in the middle of a crowd to now be dramatic and bring up the fact that Toya has been talking behind her back, and people have been telling her Toya been talking behind her back. Has Toya been talking behind her back? Hell yeah. But behind her back, Toya has been calling her dingy and letting people know that she don't pay her bills. And I feel like the way that Toya is treating Anila is akin, almost a mirror image to the way that Heavenly has been treating Toya. Because Heavenly has told Toya, you don't pay your bills. They had the tax situation going on. They, you know, that they owed like 100 some odd thousand to IRS. In addition to that, Toya has shown herself to spend a great deal of money, and she's not the primary breadwinner in the house. On top of that, Heavenly came into the show season 2 saying that Toya said some dumb shit, and Toya is the dumbest of the entire group. Now that Anila is in the group, Anila has done some dingy shit, but Toya is now basically doing the same thing that Heavenly did to her to Anila, because she's now putting Alina in the position of Anila is the one that doesn't pay her bills. Anila is the housewife that's dingy, not her. And it shows. But Anila is smart enough to recognize it, and she's feeling some type of way about it. But the way that Anila is going about it is also stupid, because Anila, you don't get your makeup done and don't pay the person. I don't understand why you would even walk out of that situation by not paying the person. Why would you do that? This person is working. Why would you leave some? It's like doing a dine and dash. You do that when you're broke. You out here saying that your husband is a surgeon, you got your life, you over here building this big ass house, you can't pay for your makeup bill. And Toya is saying that it is embarrassing for her to be having her person that she introduced you to for your makeup to come up to you and say that your friend you brought to me, I did her makeup, she didn't pay the bill. Hell, I would have wiped your whole face with some paper towels, some water, hell, with some Windex if I had to. I'm not doing your makeup and hair or doing any job walking out of there without you paying me. Slavery is over. And then it shouldn't even take you that long to pay somebody. It's a makeup bill. Cash App is, there. They got Venmo. They got Apple Pay. Hell, you can, send an envelope, send a check. You can send a smoke signal. Why is it taking you so long to pay your damn bill to where the person has to call Toya and say, this person didn't pay me? Girl, what you're arguing about doesn't make any sense, because you're making yourself look stupid. Now, I understand that she's saying that Toya is her friend, and she's expecting Toya not to even say anything about her behind her back. But she told Toya, well, say it to my face. Toya's like, okay, girl, you're dingy to your face. And Anila is just like, I don't feel like Anila was getting the acknowledgement that she wanted from Toya, because Toya already felt some type of way about Quad and Heavenly talking about her behind her back. She thought that she would come there and Anila would be the person that she could talk to and feel safe. But Anila is now going after her as well, and Toya doesn't want to give a fuck to her. And Toya did give her a very dismissive apology, and Anila chose this moment to try and get a moment, and she wasn't getting it from Toya, and it was sad to see that dynamic. I feel like Anila is now going to start making friends with Contessa in the next coming episodes, because she wants to get back at Toya for what she did. She's going to try and be friends with Contessa. That's how it's going to go. Then we have Shanice officially beginning her session of sex. And while she's saying this, Heavenly in her confessional is letting us know that she would rather have daddy's money than daddy's penis. And Quad says that she'll rather have her own, which means that she wants to do her own and have the man's penis. In other words, she's trying to tell us she's not a gold digger. Lies. Then Jackie says that she's a 6.5 in her freak level, and they give her a vibrating tongue. Do I think that Jackie's a 6.5 in her freak level? I don't know. I'm not sure. Jackie has moments where I think that she's a little bit freak in her, inside of her, that's, it's usually quiet ones that get you. But she did say in previous seasons that she prefers that the sex that she likes to have is whatever her husband prefers, meaning that she'll do whatever her man wants. So does that a freak make? I don't know. But she gets the vibrating tongue, and that stuff looked like it should be mine, because it looked like it was something I would like to try. Then we have Heavenly saying that she's a 5 when it comes to her freak level. And they flash back to her talking about how daddy likes for her to give him head, and her saying things like her and daddy have lots of sex. And there was a time when she also said that she will shake her ass at home, that daddy don't need to be going to a strip club because there's ass cheeks at home. And I'm just like, Heavenly, as much as you talk about sex and you rate your ass a 5, that's kind of disappointing to see. That is highly disappointing. But she gets a dog bone and they put it in her mouth, and Toya in her confessional says that this is the perfect gift for Heavenly, because she goes home, daddy would just want her to shut her ass up. Then we get to Quad. Quad says that she rates herself an 8, and she gets the anal and vagina plug. Is Quad an 8 freak level? I believe that Quad is an 8 freak level, because Quad has said previous times that she has had several sex toys in her drawer, and she gets herself going. And we know that her and Greg didn't have sex for over a year, so she had to get herself off somehow. So I believe that she was doing herself. Then we have Lisa Nicole rating herself a 7, and she gets the anal plug. Then we get Simone rating herself a 7. I said, Simone, you need to stop lying to people. Because I remember the first season or so when Simone came on the show and they were talking about her getting eaten out. And Simone said something like, no, I don't like that, because when Cecil goes down south and he comes back up to kiss me, I don't like how it smells. And the fact that she even says that in the first place makes me think that she's kind of frigid in bed. On top of that, she says that she don't like putting anything in her mouth. You know, Cecil is trying to get her freak out, and she's like giving all these like limits on what she can and cannot do. She don't want to have sex in the morning when he wakes her up. He's like, she gets mad and grouchy. She don't want him to, like, it's just so many different rules that she has. Your ass is not a 7, bitch. Your ass is a 1.5 and a half. I'll give you the half, 1.5 and a half. Let's make it an even 1.57 or some shit like that. But your ass is nowhere near close to a 7. She gets a bail. And like I said, she's not a freak, because all she thinks about that bell is ringing for Cecil to bring her a drink. Then we have Contessa rating herself a 10. And I said, yes, God. Contessa is definitely a 10, because I know her husband, Scott, said something about them taking it up to the Rick James level at some point in previous seasons. So I can see her being a 10. And the way that she bent over and had that girl spanking her on that table, her ass up in the air, ready to take whatever it is that she got to give her, being choked and stuff like that. Contessa is my spirit animal in this situation, girl. Get yours. Yes, girl. Get spanked if you want to. Now, the next segment we got Quad going over to Dr. Heavenly's house so they can talk more shit about Toya. And Quad runs into Allura. Allura has gone into a beautiful version of Daddy Damon. And Quad didn't take 2 seconds to go on to the 15-year-old girl, asking about her having her weave. She even asked her how she kissed a boy. Allura didn't want to answer that question, but she knows she kissed a boy. But Heavenly goes in her confessional and says something like, Quad has been kissing boys since she was 7 years old. Because you know Quad, Heavenly don't like, you know, anybody talking about her, and she's trying to protect her daughter. She don't want her daughter to be looking like she loose. So she's going to take a dig at Quad in the confessional. Now, Quad takes all of 2 seconds to start going on Toya as soon as they sat down. Heavenly brings her up, or they bring up Toya as some conversation, and they just spend the entire time bashing her. Toya says something like, Quad says something like, Toya is trying to make Anila seem like the broke one in the group, that she's smelling her, that she's smelling herself. And she then starts asking Heavenly questions that are supposed to be shady towards Toya. She said Toya has struggled to close in on her house. She begged, borrowed, and stole to buy the house. She said that her FICO score was so low that she can even get credit at the gallery. And I'm like, Quad is a cold piece of work. Because the things that she's saying about Toya, it goes beyond what you would say about somebody that used to be your friend. In my mind, the way that Quad went after Mariah for talking shit about her, it don't make sense for Quad to be now going after Toya. It's almost like you're doing the same shit to Toya like you felt like Mariah did to you. If you were so mad about Toya saying one thing about your house, why didn't you go to her house and address it? Now you know that Heavenly is baiting you, and your ass is stupid enough to take it. You didn't spoke, because Heavenly only needs to say one thing about Toya, mentioning something about Quad, and Quad will spill all Toya's business and go so far to talk about Toya's credit. Girl, then Mariah said that your ass was sleeping in your car and Aiden had to help you pay your bills, and you said that was a lie, but now you're over here talking about Toya. Girl, Quad gets on my nerves in this scene. The way that she's going after Toya is really disheartening, because I can see how it can hurt Toya's feelings at the same time. But Heavenly don't like Toya, and Heavenly didn't bully Lisa Nicole. Lisa Nicole is not a main cast member. She's gonna bully Toya. Heavenly always has somebody that she got to bully on the stage every time. Hell, she tried to do it with Mariah, and Mariah went after her and said Damon cheated, and just to get her feeling some type of way. So it's like she called her a damn bulldog, and Heavenly is a bulldog when she don't like somebody. Heavenly needs to be renamed. I don't know why her mama looked at her when she was born and named her Heavenly. She should have saw the horns coming out her head, because Heavenly is a bitch. I'm sorry, but she is. She's smart. She's a hard worker. She does a lot of good things for the Black community, but she's a bitch. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that's how I see Heavenly. She's just not a nice person in my eyes. I don't see it. Daddy is a great companion for her because Daddy is the angel and she's the, you know, the devil. So they have to balance each other out. Period. Anyway, that was this episode. I can't wait till the next episode comes on because it seems like Quad and Toya are finally gonna come face to face, and they're gonna, you know, they're gonna have to, you know, hash it out. In addition to that, there's gonna be a scene where Quad and Heavenly also gonna have to hash things out. I want to see what Heavenly has to say in that moment. Okay, y'all have a good evening. Bye.